Okay, good afternoon, folks. Sorry I'm a little bit late. It is. Market is just open literally a minute ago. So let's see how we get on today. Good day yesterday. So I was pleased with yesterday. Nice one trade. That's what I like. So let's see how we get on today. Speedy, how you doing, my friend? Karina, good morning. Hi, Eunice, how are you? Okay, so just a quick point. Some of you guys, depending on where you are in the US, are facing this big hurricane, which is fast approaching. So just want to wish my best wishes to you, to any of you or anywhere near it. It must be a bit terrifying. So just wanted to say that. It's got to be a bit worrying. I know I think there's something like 2 million people who have evacuated. So it's obviously very serious. I know you guys in that area are used to sort of weather, but this does sound like it's a little bit unique. So if you've got any family members or you're there yourself, just best of luck. Stay safe. And just do what you can. So let's have a look. So we've got a touch. This may be a failed breakout, so we could get a leg and a leg. Hard to say at the moment. So I've got my overnights there. Thomas Wade has got his up here. So hey Tony, how you doing, buddy? But yeah, it's got to be pretty terrifying. I think it's isn't it, this evening and overnight? I think you're expecting it. It does sound horrendous, I must say. Okay, did anybody catch any of that interview with Daryl Martin? I was a bit surprised, actually. It was, you tend to think if they get interviewed, it'll be by a big influencer, someone with a big platform. But I was quite surprised the guy's got 76 subscribers, and I think there was only about 300 views in 18 hours or something like that. It just wasn't very clear. I was quite surprised, actually. But it was, the sound quality was pretty poor. Biased interview. Well, that's the trouble, really. You don't know who's interviewing, really. And you know, yeah. Hey, Kev, how you doing, buddy? You don't know who's interviewing them, really, do you? You don't know what their background is. I mean, for all you know, he could work for Apex. You just don't know, do you? Me, I'm not the interviewing type, to be honest with you. There's a lot better people to get stuff out of them than me. I don't know who I would suggest, really. But the trouble is, if you've got Apex account, you're going to be biased to a degree, aren't you? I mean, you know, I got Apex account. I want Apex to succeed. Nutty would be nice. Yeah, I don't think Nutty would be bad at all, actually. But someone who's going to, yeah, I'd like to hear Nutty interview him, to be fair. I'm not really a talker. Well, I say I'm not a talker. I can talk and chat, but I'm not the interview type. Yeah, but I think Nutty be okay. I don't know why. You want someone with a big platform, really. There's no point in having 300 views in what, 18 hours. You know, if you want to get your message over, you know, you want to get a little bigger platform, really. I thought the one with John Skelton wasn't too bad, actually. I thought it was okay. I know a couple of people thought the questions were a bit soft. For me, it was more about the information I took out of it, not so much how the interview was conducted to a degree. It was the information we needed, why certain things were happening, really. That sort of I was more interested in. Okay, so this NQ quickly looks like it's coming down. If we can get a lower high or a second entry short, that may interest me. One thing I'm just going to be a little bit careful of is a possible, let's have a look, is a possible range here. Getting in here, there's a bit of support here and there a little bit. There's a double bottom there. So channel down, one attempt. If we can get up here for another one, then it may interest me. But trouble is, you notice there's a lot of wicks there. It's come down, push up, come down, push up. So that that would make me look nervous. I'd rather take a trade up here, giving me some space at the bottom. Whether this is any type of support, I don't know. But I mean, depending on how you draw this, if you look there, there's 1, 2, 3 touches. If you go up a little bit more, there's more touches. So for me, I think it looks like it's pushing through, but I always tend to look left. I'm not saying it's going to hold on there, but there does seem to be some support there and a little bit of rejection over there. It wasn't a high or low anyway, so there was no real entry, unfortunately. Nothing there. Nothing there, even if you wanted it. Let's have a look. Yeah, it was surprised to see. I mean, you tend to think, do they know that guy or what? It's hard to say, isn't it? But surely if you're someone like Daryl Martin and someone contacts you for an interview, you kind of want to know they've got a bit of a platform. I thought the sound quality was hard to understand. A lot of it, I found it was and Florida here. Yeah, I just mentioned that. It does look a bit scary, that, doesn't it? If you're not from Florida, I think there's a good chance you got friends or family there. But yeah, it does look a bit terrifying. Quite lucky over in the UK we get nothing. I mean, literally nothing. So yeah, you forget how lucky you are sometimes. I don't know what would scare me most, a tornado or a hurricane. I suppose tornadoes tend to be in and out quick, don't they? I think they come through, do the damage and move on, whereas a hurricane can... yeah, we get nothing over here, do we? This is interesting. There's a second entry short here on the NQ. Which well, if it's bearish, well, I don't know now. Got a channel down here, 2 legs up, bearish bar, but that's not, it came right down, but then it stopped here. No, I mean, you get snakes over there, don't you? We get nothing over. I mean, I think we've got a poisonous snake, but it's, well, when it comes to being poisonous, I think it'll give you a bite, that's about it, but I don't think anybody's ever lost their life over here for a snake bite. We don't really get sharks over here. We probably do, but very few, and not quite the same as you get in the US and obviously places like Australia. Sharks in a bathtub over there, isn't there? And gators, absolutely, yeah. We are quite lucky over here. We get nothing. I mean, I can remember about 3 earthquakes in my life, and when I say earthquakes, they were a slight rattle, and that was about it. Maybe 2, actually, 2 or 3 possibly. I was working in a kitchen once when I was a young chef, and we were in the cellar, and we had like crockery and cutlery, and that started shaking. That was about as dramatic as it gets. Okay, I was concerned about this area, and rightly so, because it's come down here and bounced. You can clearly see a double bottom there. There's a double bottom there. There's a lot of wicks across there. It got down a bit further than I thought, but there may have been a higher low there, but that came down, cleared anything out there, and reversed. So I was right to be a bit nervous here. If that would have been a bar there, if that would have been a bearish bar there, that could have got me in trouble. I go for 3 points. So that would have got me in trouble there. That went for 2. 0.75 really, because you've got to push through. So fortunately, the signal bar wasn't much cop. So, but what I'm going to do now is extend that up to there, I think. So we know we got some support over here. We go further back and we have it as well. So this is an area where we may get some short traders throwing orders in here somewhere. We came up here and turned. We came up here a bit higher and turned here and turned there and turned. This is a bit higher now. So I wouldn't be surprised if that got in. In fact, there is sellers coming in. If there was a lot of sellers in there, it would make perfect sense, that would, to sell there. So we've had a channel with a break, 2 pushes up, and that may turn there. It may go a tiny bit higher above there, or it may just turn there. Let's have a look. If you were kind of like a swing trader, this is the area that you may decide to get in for a possible swing somewhere down here, maybe. But I would prefer to get above that. So we've got a channel with a break. That may get us up to there. This is the previous day's high, I think. Oh, tell a lie. That's that box I've just drawn. Okay, forget that. But yeah, previous day's high there. Yesterday's high there. So I wouldn't be shocked if we saw a reversal from here. Let's just put a little line there. It's just rain. Yeah. That's about as dramatic as it gets over here. In fact, we did have a tornado once that I drove through. I was driving a truck at the time. I was driving a 44-ton Arctic with about 32,000 litres of base oil on. And we knew we were expecting bad weather. And I was out in the country and I saw this tree to the side of the road in a field just completely disintegrate. And all I remember seeing is bits everywhere. Everything went dark. There was stuff hitting the windscreen and it moved across the road. And that was it. And later on they said it was a tornado. Now, it wasn't enough to do any more damage than wreck a tree, but that was a bit scary in itself. But I can't imagine some of the ones that absolutely devastate places in the US. There's an umbrella for $1. For £1. You made me laugh, you. But yeah, we get nothing over here, really. We're really lucky. We are lucky. Okay, so that has brought in some sellers, as I thought there may be some there. So, channel break, new high, so it's kind of 2 legs. So I wouldn't be surprised if you had 2 legs down here. So if we get something half decent, that may interest me. In fact, a lot of people think here in the UK we have good weather. A lot of people think, I know, is it a lot of people from Australia think we got great weather? We have kind of a nice balance. So we have a nice cold, chilly, crispy winter and a relatively warm summer. I suppose certain parts of the world when you've got warm weather all year round. I know when we've had a really hot summer, getting some nice cold nights in is kind of a refreshing change, actually, and vice versa when you've had a cold winter, as soon as spring starts hit. So I kind of like the fact, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd like less rain, of course. But I kind of like the weather we have to a degree. It's, sometimes it's nice to get those cooler nights after we've had a hot summer, which we didn't get this year, for certain. In fact, I'll go as far as to say I don't think we got a summer at all this year. We have a pool in the garden. Sounds a bit extravagant, but it's just one of those 12-foot round Intex steel frame pools that cost a few £100. But and I think I went in it once. It just wasn't warm enough. I bought an air conditioning unit, had that on about 3 times. It's been really poor. So, channel down. Let's have a look here. Let me just check there's no kind of because these tops are kind of in a line. So I just want to make sure that I'm not missing something. There is a possibility. Touch, touch, touch. It depends how far. So going short here with a couple of legs, I may avoid. Now this may be nothing, but we've got a touch, and a touch, so I have to pay attention to it. So what I might do is just put that there, because I've been caught out with them before once in a while. So touch, we came up and bounced there, and funnily enough we bounced there, so Going shorty may just be a bit risky. I do tend to overthink things sometimes. So if you think there's a good trade in here, don't listen to me. So you, Karina, you correct me if I'm wrong. You're originally from Spain, are you? I should have been Spanish, mate. You wouldn't believe the amount of paella I eat. Are you from Argentina? Oh, cool. Oh, yeah. We've had this conversation before, haven't we? We've been down the corned beef conversation before. So I can't mention the Falklands then, can I? I mustn't mention that. That was, well, I say before my time. I was a young lad back then. My English is not I think it's pretty good, actually. I think your English is pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. You've certainly picked up some of our sayings and our lingo. that I know. Some from Argentina. One of the greatest footballers of all time, as we know. Sadly not with us. Gracias. Yeah, my Spanish is not very good. I know how to ask for food. That's about it. So 1, 2, 3. We've had 3 bounces there, so we may have another go. In fact, it's surprising how much Spanish is similar to English. I learned a little bit of Spanish, well, back in school. Confirmation, stuff like that. It's kind of very similar. Okay, that's interesting. So channel down with a break and 1 push up. If we get a lower high here, depending how far it is down, that may interest me. So just looking at the 10,000 tick chart, let me just bring it in a second. We've had, on the 10,000 tick chart, this channel up with a break, 2 attempts to go higher. So I think there's a good chance we could go down somewhere here. Now, we've talked about this morning already. We bounced here, bounced there, bounced there. Every time we've been up here, the last 4 times, we've reversed quite dramatically. We didn't quite get as high as yesterday's highs or the previous day's highs, but this is a second attempt. So if we get a lower high here, that may interest me. The trouble is, I've still got to be aware of this area here. Whether it is anything I need to be worried about, it's certainly something I need to be aware of. I'll be interested to see what happens when that big bearish bar triggers. a second entry short here might not be a bad call if we get it. See, Thomas Wade hasn't got that line, but what he has got is the same as I had across there. He's got that, so it's ranging in this area, so he's certainly thinking it could come down to this level here. I just need to be aware of that line there. Whether it will make any difference, we don't know till we get here, but I just need to be aware of it, that if I do get into something here, I really want to be out before this, well, before the open, which is around about the right area. Okay, that's triggered. Let's see what happens now. See, there is a possibility of a leg, and then push a little bit higher, but as we've bounced here like I thought we may do, this may be the way down. So that was about a 3 3/4 point risk there. So let's see where this goes. Maybe this will be a failure. I would have liked that bar to trigger. That's actually well, yeah, I suppose you could call that a second entry long or a higher low. I think there'll definitely be some stops above there and here as well. So if it does get above there, we may end up something yesterday, that little quick push that we had yesterday. It shut up 10 points. Whether it'll be as big as that, I don't know. But so that bullish bar's triggered. Let's see where this goes. There'll be liquidity there, probably, certainly there. Possible failed second entry long here. Second entry long, waiting for this to trigger. It has. This is setting up like a failure. My only slight concern is we have got a slightly bullish momentum at the moment. So it may trigger yet and come up there. So I think this is a little bit extra risky. If we get below there, that'll give us a little bit of momentum. But there's not a lot of distance between there and there. That ATR is relatively low today compared to the last few days. So I'm just going to sit tight here at the minute. Channel up. I mean, it is 2 attempts to push higher. So one would think it could come down, but we came down and we've just sort of pushed back up. So I'm just sitting tight at the moment. I wouldn't want to be going long either. So leg up, we've got a channel like this. 2 attempts to go lower. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason to go long and there's a reason not to, so, or a reason to go short, so, it's starting to get a little bit congested here, so it could shoot either way, really. And my thoughts yesterday when we were looking at that tight bit was it's going to come down pretty sharpish. It did the opposite. Obviously, the balls won out there, but whether that'll be the same here, I don't know. That will go. I certainly wouldn't want to go long, so I may have had a go at that if that would have finished a bit better. But then it's starting to stack up a bit, so it can get a bit trappy here. So, second entry long. Would I go long in? Nah, it's just congested. We know there's going to be stops there, and quite a few of them, I'd say. So, that area is going to be protected to a degree, so I certainly don't want to go long into it. Leg down, 2 attempts to push higher. So I think this, from what I'm seeing, is more likely to come down below that bar there. That's where I expect that to go, which will get us down to this area, and then we'll have to see what happens. So leg down and another leg down will get us down to here. There's quite a bit of protection up here. So my gut is we're going to have something like this, which should get us down below that bar there. And any possible liquidity that's hanging out there. There may be some there, but if this is a channel or the start of a channel, that area is probably going to be safe. But as I say, I am aware that we have bounced up here a few times, so it may not go up. In the short term, I'm expecting a leg and a leg down here, but you just never know. When we get to an area like this, there's obviously, there's bulls trying to push it up, and I dare say there's bears trying to protect it and push it down. So, channel down, 1, 2, 3 attempts to go higher. If this finishes bearish, it'll go below there and there, in my opinion. Or it could do what it did yesterday and go push up. Liquidity above there, there's got to be. Okay, a little shoot there, a little bit higher, and it'll go a bit more, I think. So if it gets above this, I expect a little push. It's triggered that bull bar. Come back. Interesting. Okay, so that bearish bar's triggered. So it's tough on this. I wouldn't like to be in there. So we've had a break. One attempt to go lower, second attempt to go lower. Tough on that. I wouldn't want to be in that short trade at the moment. So yesterday's highs are there. Previous day's highs are up here. If it gets above here, I think it'll break the previous day's highs. Sorry, day before yesterday's highs, which is there. Yesterday's highs are there. We're going to do it now, I think. There, yesterday's highs. It might just push straight through both. So those two, yesterday's, day before. If we get above there, I think it'll push straight to that. We're struggling to get up here. If you look on that, the NQ, we've had another leg up here. So we've had a whole push up there in the time we've had about a bar here. So that is clearly not making a difference. And I think if this does drop, this will find it a lot easier to get down. So it's matched yesterday's high. It's doing what it did yesterday, very slow, very grinding up. Now, yesterday we had that big push up. So are we going to get the same? I certainly think the easiest way is down at the moment. So if you did take that trade, trigger just stopped you out. H, how you doing, buddy? I don't think there is. I know Nick Sesto's from Tampa, I believe. So that's right where he doesn't want to be, I think. Anybody else I'm not sure about. Trouble is, it's not quite like a tornado where you can get those sort of underground bunker type areas. If you're coastal and you get that big surge, it kind of doesn't matter where you are or how you are. You can be in trouble. I'm just thinking which is worse, tornado. Well, I'd say probably a tornado is less worse, isn't it? Is that a word? Less worse, less dangerous. Okay, are we going to get that push? Yes, there we go. Straight to I thought as much. I thought if you get above there, we'll push straight through. So that's interesting now. So are we going to completely reverse now? But there is still a possibility of a channel. So if this continues up, then I'd say we're going up higher. So let's just have a little look at this. So we've had a leg up. We could go a lot higher. But I'd be thinking more of a reversal here, but I could be wrong. In fact, no, actually, I'm a bit biased here. it's certainly looking like it could continue up. But this NQ is finding some support here. So this looks like we've had a leg and a leg. So this looks like it may come down. If this does come down the NQ, then this will follow it to a degree. Okay, so there are a few channels that people are drawing from there. Not sure about that. Let's have a look. Let's get rid of that. Is this a channel? It may be. It may well be. So that's been broken. That's been broken. Far enough, we should be good. Yeah, I suppose if you, I mean, I think Florida is quite wide wide across, isn't it? So I don't think everybody's susceptible to a tidal surge. I'm not the best geography in the world, but I'm pretty sure Florida is quite wide. We obviously know it's quite long, isn't it? But I don't know how wide it is. I think it's wide enough to have areas where if you can get down somewhere or get out of it. Okay, yeah, it is. Width east to west, 361 miles. So yeah, you can get out of, depending on where you are, you can get out of tidal areas. Or one would think. We've got a lot of support here, a big bullish bar there. So I have a feeling this thing may continue up. We have got all-time highs up here, around about 22, 23 points away. But at the moment, this NQ is looking just rangy. Mind you, having said that, we could have a leg and a leg, which would get us above this area. So it could go higher than that. Let's have a look. So we've got a leg up. On the other side, yeah. I've seen some of the reports. The trouble is, ultimately, you never fully know how bad things. I mean, they're still saying that it could be the worst for a century. And obviously Biden said, if you stay, you're in trouble. And 2 million people. So I think they've got to expect it's going to be pretty nasty. I suppose in this day and age, we're lucky, really, or you guys are lucky that you get noticed. You almost know very accurately when this thing's likely to sort of come in contact with land. So at least you've got options. You've got a day or two's or three's notice to to make plans. Katrina, really. Yeah, Katrina was nasty. I think there's people still suffering after effects from Katrina. Yeah, that was horrendous, wasn't it? And it's all the sort of stagnant water and the disease and all that which causes so many problems after. It's not a case of you clean up and you're back to normal. It must be expensive to insure. To have a house and buildings insurance and stuff like that. I mean, if you're near a floodplain in the UK, your prices can soar. And the most you may get is a foot of water in your front room. Not quite the same as other parts of the world. So it must be horrendous getting insurance. It's not licensed for my computer. No, I've never come across with that. I'll tell you what that might be, bud. When you first get Replicanto, if I remember rightly, you have to have a computer ID. So if you've reset your BIOS, that may clear that out. So I just contact them. If you can't get in, you need that license. I think what it does, it has to register your computer. I think your computer has an ID number, and whether your BIOS is it changed that or deleted it, I'm not sure. So I just contact. They're pretty quick to get back. Actually, just contact Flowbots and just tell them what's happened. They'll come across that before. You need to update. Right, there you go. Yeah, I've not done it, to be honest with you. Fixed it. Yeah. To be honest with you, I actually built this computer and I was amazed it actually worked initially. I'm even more amazed that it's still working 3 years later. And I'm better with hardware than software. I can get by. So we've got FOMC meeting minutes tonight, 7 o'clock. We'll be long done. And we've got CPI tomorrow around about 1:30. I'm tempted to have another evaluation on the CPI because usually the CPI is the best thing to pass them quickly. Well, instantly. Can I do it from their website with my login? I don't know. It sounds to me like Tony or Kev will probably be able to answer that better, mate. Okay, this to me is looking very much like another leg up. A leg up with a correction leg up. So I think there's a good chance we get up to here. And I think this will continue if this does. So leg, 2 legs back or a correction, whatever you want to say. Hey, Road, you know how you're doing, my friend. Where have you been hiding? Good, taking a break from NQ. Yeah, I don't blame you. Do you know, I'm actually looking forward to the Christmas break. That's the last time I took anything off bar a day. I kind of find it hard to stay away, really. I think I've had maybe a day or 2 off this year. Apart from the obvious, bank holidays, US holidays. There is one Monday. But usually I do a bit of studying in that time. It's very hard to get away from trading. Even in your off time, you still got it on your mind. It takes such a lot of mental energy. It never tends to go, really. Trying to trade earlier. Yeah, that's the trouble with you. You're the other side of the world, aren't you? So I think we're lucky in the UK because I technically don't have to get out of bed till about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I usually get to the charts about 2 o'clock and I set everything up, go through all my settings, check everything, double check, and then make myself a sort of a drink, and I'm usually ready to go then, back 20 past. But you've got either very late at night or early hours of the morning. US, it's anywhere between 9:30 and sort of 6:30. But in the UK, we're lucky, really, 2:30. So I tend to do around about 2:30 till 5:30ish. Between 2 and 3.5 hours, I tend to do. I think it's enough, to be honest with it. But if you get a trade in that time, I'd say, yeah, sack it, get off and enjoy your day. It moves back another hour. Yeah, we go forward. In fact, I've been trading these markets now for over 3 years, and I was surprised how much of a difference there was. I think it was in March. I'm pretty sure, because then I think in March we come forward, don't we? So when our clocks went forward in March, I'm pretty sure it was about 2 weeks before the US caught up. I thought it was quicker than that. But it just means, we're trading from 1:30 in the afternoon, which makes no real difference here. But I know it's the last. It's October. I think it's the last Sunday of the month we go. We spring forward to come back, so we move back. I think it's the last Sunday of the month, a few weeks away, I think. Yes, it'll be the early hours of the 27th, so it'll be 3 weeks on Sunday. Sorry, 2 weeks on Sunday. I'm not sure about the US. You think it's November 4th in the US, so that would be just over a week actually. I'm sure it was a couple of weeks. 27, yeah, I'm sure it was a couple of weeks when we went forward in March before the US actually caught up. I thought it was quicker than that, but I know that they've talked about it over the years of getting rid of it here. I don't know. I can't even really remember why they did it. Was it something to do with farmers or daylight or something? Then I've heard other stories that if it's lighter when people are coming home from work, there's less accident. I don't know what it is. I had a feeling it was something to do with farming, the farming industry, why they originally did it. But I'm not sure, to be honest with you. See, we're going up at the moment. I kind of like that channel because we are working nice off that midline. It could even come down a little bit more, I think. Yeah, a little bit more. That's better. It's working nice off that midline. So we've got a touch here and a touch there. I don't mind that channel, actually. I think it looks okay. Might get a second entry long. The only bit of these wider channels that makes me nervous about going long here is because you never know when it's going to decide to come back into this bottom tier. I always get nervous about taking... If I can find a channel here with a break or a new high and 2 legs down, something like that, then I don't mind it. But if we're looking at this, you never quite know when it's going to go leg in a leg. So I always get nervous. And looking at this NQ as well, we're right at the top of the NQ. So if this starts to come down, we're already at the middle, just above the midline here, and we're right above the top of the channel on the NQ. So if this is going to turn down, it's hard to say. There's no setup anyway. A little spike there. What was that for? Okay, we broke above yesterday's highs, so that created a little bit of a move higher. So, okay, so we had that little push up in a big bearish bar there, so that's also an overshoot. So let's have a look. So we got a leg down. We could get another leg down here. If that's an overshoot, we could get a deeper correction there. If we do, I think this will come down a bit lower. It is sitting nice on that middle line, but I'm not trusting it at the moment because there's almost like a 1, 2, 3, almost like a triple top there. I have a channel from the 616 with 3 good hits on the bottom. From the 616, LOD, what's that? Oh, low of the day. So you've got it from down here somewhere, haven't you? So I did have something initially. Yeah, I did. I put that there just on a single bar at the moment. So you got something like that. Yeah, I'm not so sure that it visually goes at that angle, not quite as steep. So, yeah, I'm not sure about that one. I wasn't sure about this one either. But I like the way it's sitting on that midline. There are a few on Thomas Wade's got that as well. He's got that. Well, is Thomas Wade's got that. So, Archer's got that. So there is a few with that kind of channel. So I think the more the merrier. I like it because it sits nice on this midline, and I see where we push up to the midline and then drop. We're bouncing on it there, and it's fitting quite nice at the top. So although we've only really hit it twice, I don't mind that. I didn't like it initially, but when I see it working on that midline... Okay, so there's a second entry long there. I'm not taking that at the moment because we do seem to be finding some support along here. This may be plateauing a bit, and if it is, I'd expect a steeper correction. Let's have a look. And there is some support there, so if we have a leg and a leg, that could get us down here, but I don't like this. It's stacking up a bit sideways now. Oh, someone's just said they're taking a second entry long here. That is risky. So, second entry long there. Just not a fan of this at the moment. I hope I'm wrong. We've pushed up, and we're getting a little bit of rejection from here. You took that second entry, that one there, have you? It's a little bit sideways, I think. I hope it works for you, bud. I'm just not sure about this. It's finding some support here, so this could come flushing down. Oh, you got your points, have you? Good on you, mate. Yeah, I don't like this. It's up and down, up, down, up, down. It's getting very sideways here. So taking that into this support for me would be risky. So if you go a tick above at the moment, tick above, it's only gone 3/4 of a point. So I take 3 points, see, so I wouldn't be confident in getting up there. So at the moment, it's gone about 3/4 of a point. The trouble is, you've gone 3/4 of a point, and now you're finding support, so there's another reason. But like you say, Rodin, if you got in there earlier and you only scalp a point, then there's no issues. Mac will mark stuff like that if he thinks he can, you know, but from a 3 point of view, and I know we've had this overshoot on this NQ, and a lot of times we'll have an overshoot, we'll come back, make another attempt, and then rock it down. Above the signal bar, I'd be sweating. Yeah, absolutely. It's only gone up 3/4 of a point. It's got to push through as well. So theoretically, you're only in for half a point at the moment. It may work, but it's starting to go a bit sideways. That whole picture now is stacking up. It's ranging up, down, up. Trying again. So yeah, for me, be wary about that personally. It's too sideways as opposed to down and down. I hope I'm wrong. If it gets above there, you'll get your points. Three points I go for, mate. A flat 3 points. Wow, look at that go now, look. Yeah, flat 3 points. So the last two trades I took, got 3 points on both of them. So what I'm doing a little bit of a mind trick here. Instead of 2 points, I'm going for 3 points. And every time I win 3 trades, technically I've gained 3 points. So I've got myself a loss voucher, if that makes any sense to anybody. If I go from 2 to 3 points, every winning trade gives me 1 extra point. So when I have 3 winning trades, effectively I've got myself a 3-point loss voucher. So it would have been, if I do lose a trade, then that 3 points covers it. So it's as if I never lost a trade going for 2 points. And it's, to be honest with you, it's rare something goes for 2 and not for 3. Obviously, poor setups, you may get lucky and may go for 2 but not 3. But if it's a good setup and your patience is okay, then most good setups comfortably go for 3 and some. Okay, so that did work. So the trouble is, we are finding support there, or we did find support there. So you don't know whether that's going to trigger you and come down to this bottom here before it does anything else. So I'm just wondering, Rodian, whether your channel is coming into play here. Let's have another look at that. It's possible. Trouble is, it's going at that angle. That's what makes me. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's the fact that we're sort of cutting off that top section that would make me think that this isn't a channel, and more this is the kind of angle it's going at. Actually, we can adjust this to there and push this up a bit, and that kind of that actually fits not too bad. We've got a touch and a touch going from here, touching here. So let's see if we get 2 legs down. So on that NQ, we had an overshoot there. A lot of times we'll do that. We'll come back, rock it up, make a new high, and then reverse. So that is played out. So I think we're going to get a strong pullback here, a leg and a leg. So I would say relative confidence, we're going to close below this. So let's put that there. So for argument's sake, it's working around about a few ticks below that center line. So I think there's a good chance we have a leg and a leg down there, top and bottom. Okay, excuse me just 1 second. Sorry about that. Actually, there may be a steeper channel there. Let's not sure about that. Start the channel at 1437. That would fit, obviously, 1437. Anyway, starting there. Yeah, maybe. Still cutting that corner off. That's the problem I have. I would prefer that. Yeah, it's a tough one, that. That still looks better to me, which, funnily enough, is getting us into that same area. So, yeah, I'm not sure about that at the moment. That, I think, is as good as I think I've got. I just like the way it's sitting on that midline. Sit nice at the top. I think because it's as much as visually it looks On the second, yeah. I just don't like this. It's going up, but it's going up sideways, up a bit sideways, up a bit sideways. It's very congested, and that makes me nervous. I'd still like to see another leg down below this. I kind of expected it on the NQ after an overshoot and a push up and a new high, but there may be a tighter channel on that NQ now. It's done terrible in the slow grinds, yeah. To be honest with you, mate, you've answered your question there. The best thing to do is to stay out of this, really. Now, there is, by the count, a second entry long there, but it's so stacked up. And going long there, just to get to the top of that support, there's 3/4 of a point, and you've got to push through. So really, you'd have only got half a point. Now, it did eventually push up. But if you look at the bottom as well, there's some support there, whether you think it's there or there. Let's say there. So this could come down. So if you go long here, it could trigger you and come down to this level. And we all know how good the market is at trapping people. So when it's sideways like this, it does make it more risky. But as you said, you always do bad in markets like that. And the simple answer is, if you're trading this stuff, it's more dangerous. Now, there was one by the count there, but I left that. Although it worked, it's not a trade for me that stands out as a good setup. It is riskier. Now, you know, in an hour's time, it may look a lot better if we end up here and it continues to work. But I think that's a bit risky. I like to go for something that's an obvious setup. And yeah, we don't get as many of them. But, you know, as I've mentioned, going for 3 points, 2 trades a week is all you need. That gives you over $2,000 on an account. Even if you take one loss, if you take 2 losses or 3 or 4 losses, it's still over $1,000 per account. And if you've got 10 or 20 counts, so you don't need a lot of trades. I'd rather go for an extra point and wait for great setups than go for something like that, which you may get a couple of points, but you could also lose as well. So it's very personal trading, how the decisions you make. Some people still scalp for a point. I don't see the point, to be honest with you. Excuse the pun, but going for a point for me. The last 2 trades, I'm up 6 points. If I'd have gone for a point, I'd have been up 2 points. So effectively, I'm up 4 points. Another trade, I'll be up 6 points. I can afford to lose the next 2 losses. In my opinion, scalping a point is just too difficult. You've got to be one hell of a good trader to do that. And even Max says now, if you're only trading 1 or 2 contracts, scalping a point, it's just not worth it. You're not going to make any money. You need to be really, if you're scalping a point, more contracts and including a runner where you can maybe cover some losses and some extra money. So I'd like to see a couple of legs down here. Which will get us down below here. Maybe even test. You can clearly see there's some support over there. Just looking at that. Tradeify. It's a lot of money at a minute. $419 with the discount code. Thing is, if it's CPI tomorrow, if you pay for a $34 and do an OCO order, 1 above, 8 times out of 10 you'll pass that in a second. So that's $35, another $85, $110, you're into a live account. You could afford to do that 4 times for the $420. So, yeah, that's a bit rich for my blood. I wouldn't pay for that. An OCO order, it's really easy to pass an evaluation. You just set 10 points, go for 10 points, 64 ticks here. And in a move like this, that's all you need. Let's say 64 ticks. Yeah, that's all that you do. 10 contracts. All you got to do is move there. So put an OCO order, buy order here, sell order here. News comes, shoots up, gets you into that trade, closes that trade, and vice versa. I scout for a point with 3 contracts, and I don't keep a runner. But that's what I mean. You have to have a very high win rate. And at 92%, that's a pretty high win rate. Be interesting, mate, if you look back at all your trades and worked out. So like, I was just going to say that. I've done this quite a few times, and I did it a couple of weeks ago. Went back over my last 20 trades. Work out how much you'd have won or how much you'd be up if you traded 1 point, 2 point, or 3 point, something like that. Just try it. It's interesting. But I went through max charts over a few weeks about a year and a half ago. You always do it yeah. I went through max charts, and I think I counted 105 trades, and it was only 103 that made a point and didn't make 2. Because of the trailing drawdown. Yeah, it doesn't always work, but it works. It's a lot more successful at passing them than I am, put it that way. But yeah, the thing is, if you've only got a small move, I was going to say I might have a go at it late, tomorrow, but it's at 1:30, isn't it? In fact, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to have a go at the CPI tomorrow, and I'll record it so I can show you, if you want, how it works, just out of curiosity. I'd say it probably works about 75% of the time, but for $35. But if it does push up strong, it's only got to make that distance, 64 ticks. It's only got to make that distance, and a lot of the time when we get sort of CPI, it'll go like that in its first move, and it'll slice straight through there, no problem. Now, on the odd occasion, what it does is it shoots down a little bit and rockets up. Now, that can push down, trigger you, and then stop you out. It doesn't often do that, but I would say 75% of the time it works. So even if you only ever build up new PAs when you get the news, 75% of the time you'll pass it in a minute. For exiting. Yeah, I've not had that. It depends what order. So if I'm going to do it there, I always
Order
have
submitted.
not a buy stop market. Let's cancel that.
Order cancelled.
In fact, this is a sim here, so let's get an OCO. So there's an OCO order. So buy stop
Order
market.
submitted.
Yeah, buy stop market. Sell stop
Order
market.
submitted.
Is that right? Or do I? No.
Order cancelled. Order submitted.
No, it's not that. Yeah,
Order
it's got to be a
cancelled.
market order. Yeah, as I say, about 75% of it works. So
Order submitted.
yeah, no, it's a
Order
market
cancelled.
order. Are we allowed to trade the news on evaluations? Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Do whatever you want on an evaluation. Whatever you want. But we got CPI tomorrow. I'll do an evaluation and I'll trade it and we'll see I'll record it, see how it works. It doesn't always work, but I'd say 75% of the time it works. Automated in Ninja. Yeah, on the ES, yeah, I'm on about NQ, so I go for 63 ticks. It's a lot smaller of a move. So here at the moment, if you were trading 10 contracts on the ES, let me think, 13 ticks. So you need 6.5 points on it. It's just over 6 points. So there's 3 points. So 24 ticks, and it's just over. So that is the move you need on the NQ. Oh, sorry, on the ES, which is quite a bigger move. On the NQ, 64 ticks. So look at the difference. Look at the difference. That is the average size of a bar. That is the average size of 2 bars. So it's got to move a lot less distance. It's easy to pass it on the NQ because it's only got to move half that distance. That, if you look at that green bar, it's a tick or 2 below that green bar. Let's pick a bar here. Let's say that bar there. That's quite a large green bar. Look at that. Look at the difference. If I take it to somewhere else, like that bar there, that red bar, it's over double what that is. It is, yeah, but what you're banking on with a news trade is the initial push-up. And a lot of the times, if you're going for that move, 64 ticks, a lot of the times the initial move will go like that, straight through it. There's less of a distance to move. Yeah, I mean, you're planning on passing it in one move. You know. Traded Joe has a video showing. Yeah. Comments on his video because you need to do something funky to get the OCO to work. Yeah. So at the moment, let me just show you about the OCO. Let me just move this over a little bit so you can see the OCO there. This is a sim, this. So if I try and do an order now,
Order
stop
submitted.
market and an order above this.
Order
Stop
submitted.
market. There you go. There's my OCO. So if I put that like that and like that, that'll work. It'll either trigger one or not the other. So if I put it there, see which it hits first. So if it clicks that one, it'll shut that one down and vice versa. This is a sim anyway. Yeah, both orders are open now. There's a buy and a sell order there. So if it hits that
Order
one,
filled.
it's cancel the short now. So we're into a trade long and vice versa. And if you close
Order
that
filled.
and try it again, it won't let you.
Order submitted.
Or it shouldn't let
Order
you.
submitted.
Okay, it has let you. I say a lot of the times you've got to shut down OCO, but there you go. It'll allow me to do it again. If it hits that
Order
one,
filled.
if it hits the short, it cancels the long. So you've got such a small move really to go for, and that's
Order
it. And there's
filled.
the OCO. To get that, just right click on there, and there it is. So just before you trade it, if you do,
Order
sell market
submitted.
order there, buy
Order
market
submitted.
order there, and then drag them into place. Now, on the odd occasion, it'll drop a bit and push up, and vice versa. But most of the time, it just shoots off quickly in a direction. So I probably would have that there, something like that. I wouldn't have it too close, probably something like that there. Give it a little bit of time to maybe there, actually, something like that. Let's move this back out of the way now. Yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. It's 1:30 tomorrow, CPI. Any expectations? Does it finish today, does it? Let's have a look. Where have I got it down as? Finishing on the 9th. That's today. Okay. I don't know is the answer, mate. The last time they extended it, so I don't know. What I will say is the bit that attracts me to this more than ever is the $85 lifetime fee. That's a big difference there. It's come down $55. We're overdue. Yeah, I have a feeling they won't do a 90% again. I hope I'm wrong, but the reason they've stopped doing that, I think, is because as soon as they do, there's twice as many evaluations bought, and it does seem to put pressure on Rhythmic. So whether that they've mitigated for that this time round, I'm not sure. But we haven't had a 90% off for a while, so you never know. My guess is they'll extend it, if at best guess. But it worries me about going back to, about getting rid of that 90% because, sorry, the $85. I really like the lifetime fees, $85. Yeah, it's a massive difference, that is. You know, paying an extra $10 or $20 for an evaluation doesn't concern me so much, but an extra $55 for the lifetime fee, that's a fair chunk. So if you take that into consideration, you've theoretically you've had the evaluation for free, 100% off, haven't you? So I'll do an OCO order on that news tomorrow, and I'll record it. So that way if it works, I'll show you that it's worked. But I'd rather just, I can't be doing with trading them. I'd rather focus on my PA accounts because I always trade them a bit more aggressively anyway. But the trouble is, if you trade them a bit more aggressively, the chance of passing them drops. So I think 75% chance of passing them with the news. I much prefer to do that. It's done and dusted then, especially with 1 day. If you've got to trade for 7 days, then there's no reason to pass it in a day. But if you can pass it in a day, I could do the news tomorrow and be on a live account the day after. At 1:30 tomorrow. I can do that, mate, if you want. I can do that if you want. Does anybody want me to start? Well, about 20 past 1 tomorrow. Is anybody trading that early? And I'll have a go at it and see what happens. Okay, all right. I'll start early tomorrow. I'll start at 20 past 1. Okay, all right. Consider it done. Yeah, I think I'm okay. It's all right. I'm taking my car to have this radio module fitted tomorrow, but I'm pretty much sure I'm just dropping off in the morning. So yeah, it's not a problem. So yeah, I'll do that. So I'll grab myself an evaluation, and I'll have a go at that news tomorrow. Good thing about the CPI is it generally moves pretty quick. Now you can. Some people do it where they may give it a little bit more space, like this. So if it does shoot down a little bit, it won't trigger that before it pushes up. So I don't think that's a bad idea, actually. But if it moves something like that, it's really only got to get to there to pass. So usually you'll get a move like that. So it might be better to do it like that. I don't think it really matters. Most of the time, it'll shoot up in your direction anyway. But on the very rare occasion, it kind of whiplashes. It'll push up a little bit, maybe to here, and then right down. I don't quite know why it does that, but if it's only $30-odd, I don't mind having a go. I mean, you could try it today, but it's a lot more volatile. CPI is a lot more volatile than FOMC. Meeting minutes, so that I think they're just released, aren't they, at 7 o'clock? Yeah, 10 contracts, so maximum contract. So if you're trading on here, I'll show you. If you're trading on here, 64 contracts. So let me just put I'm on a sim anyway. So if I move that to 10 contracts, and I custom it to, I think I usually go for 64. I suggest an extra tick or so. There's 64. As long as the stop is bigger than that, it's not a problem. But just go for a bigger stop. So if I click buy now on this is a sim
order
here.
filled.
3,100. So taking out $75 for fees, that's comfortably made it. So you imagine having news now, and that shoots up like that. That's nothing really. But I would suggest probably putting it a little bit. So I would probably suggest putting your orders a little bit higher. So maybe there, just in case it flicks up, closes that and comes down, and then maybe there. And if we get a move like that, it's irrelevant really, that. But it's that initial push up. I'm probably not going to. I'm probably going to keep it relatively close. Yeah. Stop loss just goes. I'll show you. Stop loss just goes more than your. Let's have a look. So, custom edit. So that is 3,100. Now we know it's a $2,500 loss. So as long as that's more than that, you can get it right. But what I've found is on the rare occasion, it'll push down below the $2,500 and reverse back quick without stopping you out. A couple of times that's happened. So it's moved 3,000 down and then shot up in the other direction. It's moved down and back up quick enough to not hit my stop. So I would suggest just do it over 100, something like that. And it doesn't matter. So as soon as it triggers, mate, let's set a buy order. We know we've got enough money there to pass that one. So I set it for 64 ticks. That gives you a tick to cover expense commissions and an extra tick for luck. But look at that small move. So if it shoots up now, it'll walk all over that. It's a very small distance. Whereas on the ES, it would have to go up 3. It would have to go up 6.25 points. So it's quite a bit more of a move on the ES, isn't it? So look at the distance we've got to move from there to there here, but that's the distance we'd have to move. So I just think personally it's quicker to pass it, easy to pass it on this, but that's just my personal thoughts. We have a masterclass how to pass, yeah. If it works, it might be a masterclass, but
order filled.
But yeah, and if you don't know about that OCO order, there it is there. In fact, you can't see it actually. Let's move that over there. So that's what you're looking for. If you've never used one of those, so just right click and it's there, and right click, it's there. And then all you do is you have a buy stop market there, and a sell stop market there. And then 20 seconds before, just get them somewhere in place. Now, if you have them tight, on the odd occasion, it might shoot up to there and rocket down to here and vice versa. So some people extend them a little bit more. You may go something like that, but if you get a quick move up, it'll do 2 or 3 times that in a second. But I tend to prefer to have them a bit closer. So there and there. Obviously, if it does just shoot up, the sooner you're in, the sooner you're out. Yeah, use a market order.
Order cancelled.
The only other option is a buy stop limit, but I've had
order
it
submitted.
Shoot straight up past that and not trigger it. So I use a market order.
Order cancelled.
And then when you're finished, just right click and just deselect OCO order, and that gets rid of it. You're back to normal then. But it's a bit of fun, if you want to call it fun. I don't sort of mind. But one thing I like is if it works tomorrow, I'll have a PA the day after. And I won't have to mess around spending the time to try and pass it. And 75% win rate to pass it instantly, I don't think it's a bad. It's not bad, I don't think. Okay, so let's have a look at this now. So, ooh, shiver there. So that is actually fitting nice there. It's fitting beautifully in that top tier. I'm still not ready to take a trade here because it could trigger you and then drop. So yeah, I'll start the stream at 20 past. Bang on 20 past 1 tomorrow. So let me just check it is tomorrow. I'm pretty sure it is. Forex Factory. Thursday, yeah, it is. 1:30 UK time. So yeah, CPI, unemployment claims. So that'll cause some fireworks. It always seems to. I don't think I've ever known that CPI not to move. But just be aware that you may lose it. You may lose it. I mean, I wouldn't do it if I had to pay $75, but as it's only $33, it's about £25 English, so it's not a lot, to be fair. It's like, yeah, it is. It won't show it till tomorrow. I've got it set to only show today, but yeah, it is 1:30 tomorrow UK time. So I'll jump on the stream an hour 20 past. I'll be live at 20 past tomorrow. We'll have a go at it. But just be aware, it might not work, but I would say 7.5 times out of 10 it works. So when I do it, I only ever do it with one. I know sometimes you guys, when you go to pass them, you might go for 3 or 5 or 10 or 20 or whatever. But because it's a hit or miss, I only ever go for one on it. But it is pretty accurate. Oh, where's my rhythmic? Rhythmic's closed. Let's have a look. So Thomas Wade's changed his to there. I'm not quite sure why. I have a feeling, Rodian, you might be the right one there. Especially now that's moving up. Let's have a look. I'm not sure. Might actually look. It's just still going up at a funny angle. Straight to fund 290 with a 50k account. So as long as it works 25% of the time, it's cheaper. Yeah. You'd be surprised at how often it works. When was the last CPI? I don't think I want to go back that far, can we? When was the last? Anybody know the last CPI? I'll load that many days and we'll fly back and have a look. Let's see if I can find out. So if I can find out what the last CPI was, and we'll go back and have a look, see if it worked. $11th of September. Actually, it was a month ago. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's reload. Days to load. Let's do 35. $11th of November, September. It'll take a while. Loading. We said 11th of September, didn't we? So 1:30 would have been about here. Okay, so that would have been it there. Yeah, that's what I mean. So look at that. If I was going for, sometimes it'll push up and then reverse. So if I had that there, I would have to get 64 ticks, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so if I had my order, my short order there, let's say I had a long order there, short order there, it pushed up a little bit. If it didn't trap you there, it pushed straight down, straight through it, in or out. Now, it doesn't often do that, but on the rare occasion, it will push up a bit. So I would probably suggest, in fact, no, actually, I tell a lie, it may even have already been up there that it just dropped. So I would probably say put an order in, maybe that if price isn't there, put an order in there, and then put an order in, say about there. But even there, if it opened there and closed it, what do we say, 64 ticks, which is there. So even if it came down, opened it here, we push straight down, straight through it, you'd be in and out. So just give it a little bit of space. And that wasn't much of a drop, to be fair. So, yeah. See how we get on anyway. We just get rid of these days, otherwise it takes forever then. So I'm just going to put 3 days. You don't need much there. The more it takes to load, the slower things are. There we go. So, break, new high. I think your chart's looking better and better. I just still don't like this going at this angle. It seems to be working at that angle, which is why that just seems a bit out. Let me have a look. Maybe put an order above 10 points from the current price to avoid price jumps. Yeah, most of the time it does just shoot off in one direction, but on the odd occasion, as I mentioned, it'll whip up and then down, or vice versa. So if you're too close, sometimes it can sting you. When was the last news we had? We've had nothing for a while, have we? That was news. What was that? Not sure what news that was. Okay, so if you took that trade for argument's sake and you had your order there, you're long there and you're short there, that's probably somewhere around about where I generally put it. So as that pushed up, now obviously on the ES it's got to move a little bit further, but if it triggered you there, 6 6.25 points. As it pushed up, you're in, you're out. So that pushed straight up and then came down a bit and then down a bit. So, yeah, if it does push up so much and comes down so much, but usually the CPI is such a violent move that, if you've got the right direction, and that's the good thing about an OCO order, you can have a long order up here and a short order. Triggers one, it cancels the other. See, I used to trade them with just a long order and a short order, whichever, in two accounts, whichever it hit before I realised, you can do it on those OCO orders. You can have a long and a short available. My one. Oh, right. Oh. Yeah, see, Thomas Wade's got something in between. He's got it going from here. That angle I like. From the bottom, I'm not so sure. Because it's coming at this angle, so let me just maybe move that to there and see if that looks any better. I'd like something that kind of fits close to the top. See, that visually looks nice to me, I think. But the bottom, it's finding somewhere that I can't randomly put it anywhere, can I? I don't know. Might be better off putting it from there in that case. But look at the angle it's moving there. That doesn't look right to me. Or does it? Maybe it does. Maybe it's just me being a bit... Let's leave it there. Somewhere along those lines anyway, I think. Okay, how long have we been going for? An hour and 40 minutes, right. My mouse getting a bit dry. We're getting very close to these all-time highs. So we got a leg up. We're not far away. 7 points maybe, that's all. If it's 2 a.m, yeah, you get off to bed, mate. But yeah, I'll be here tomorrow at, I'll be here at 20 past 1 UK time. So I'm just going to take a 5-minute break, make a cup of tea. I'll leave you to it. But yeah, we're about 7 points away from all-time highs there. I'll leave that there, and I'll be about 3 to 5 minutes. Right, not that easy to trade today. There's been nothing really there. Pretty much in an uptrend. There's no argument there. I think the chance of hitting that is pretty good. It'd be nice to get a couple of legs down and something decent before we do. No way you can trade there. It's just too sideways for me really to take that, and there is support there, so that one. Same again. It's too high up, too big. Nothing else really down here. So I'll be surprised if Mac can actually find anything here, in all honesty. It's clearly going up, but it's very choppy and very close together. You said I'll be surprised if Mac finds anything. Yeah. I'm trying to think what he could. I mean, yeah, he always does about 10 times the amount we think he's going to get, but nothing here. Nothing here, really. I mean, there is 2 legs down, but I can't see him taking that. Nothing there. Nothing there. There is kind of a second entry long, but I wouldn't have thought he would take that, and it goes up and eventually works. So that's a possibility for him to mark. None of this, it's just choppy. That one possibly, but it is very sideways. So, I mean, obviously there's the rest of the day, but it'd be interesting to see just up to this point in the first 2 hours whether he can see a trade. We are going up, but it's very much sideways in a very slow grind, which makes it even harder. But, you know, our bars can be slightly different. How you doing, Chad? How high could it go? So we go. Well, I say how high could it go? We're up to all-time highs. We're literally a stone's throw away. So daily. Okay, we kind of thought we would do that anyway. It was a bit of a trap here, wasn't there? It was a long, triggered, came straight down, stopped out, bearish bar, triggered, pushed up. Close there yesterday, I thought it might finish the highs, but as soon as it opened, it came back down and pushed up strong. So it's cleared out that and this, and we're literally knocking on all-time highs door, which is up here. So that's pretty bullish and pretty positive, isn't it? So I got no doubts of hitting this today. Maybe in the next 10 minutes. We may come down here first and just get a little bit more oomph, but I mean, we're literally 6 points away, 5 points away. It's whether it'll bounce, come down, or push through. I'd like to get a little bit of a pullback here. The trouble is, when we get these wide channels, it does make me nervous about taking a trade here. You don't know whether it's going to trigger you and come down. Because we've been in this bottom tier for a while, and then we've had that strong move out. In fact, if you look at this as a little channel, we've had a break, 1, 2 pushes up to a new high. There's our new high there. I always like to do 2 pushes, so 2 little legs down, 2 pushes up, and we're trying again. So I'd like to see some. I'd like to see some a couple of legs down or something here. Sometimes when you think it can't go any higher, it could just continue straight up to there. Good on you, mate. Bias definitely is up. Yeah, no argument from me there, mate. Found an uptrend. No, I've messed around a little bit. I'm really surprised. There's someone taking that. Where is stop is though? Archer taking that. Now, his take profit, I think, is in the right place. And that's a bigger risk on the stop there, isn't it? That is a bigger risk. You bollock. Dump it. That's a fair size. Where's that then? So if this is on the ES, we got this channel. So it stops around about here, isn't it? Is it right? Just above that middle. Whether it'll get up there, it's whether it'll come back. If it does pop back up, it'd be quite safe, but it's a fair amount of risk. So that is just above. So we've got a doji, haven't we? Yeah, so it's just above. It's about here. So it depends how you trade, I suppose. It might not be risky, but for me, it's just above that doji's stop. So the stop is there. Look. There. That's the stop. And where did he get in? Right here. He got in there. So it's a fair distance of a stop, that is. Yeah, 7 points. And it's 4 points to the top. Yeah, so that's where he's targeting. If it does come down, it may only come to here, but it's a 7 point risk for 4 points. We'll leave that there, actually. So that's the that's the stop, that's the order, that's his take profit. Not only that, we're right at the top of the channel now, so it could come back a little bit before it goes up. But sometimes it doesn't, it just continues on up. Okay, he's only trading on a sim. That's not terrible then. It's a week or so back, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days ago, we had the all-time high. So we are finding some support where we'd expect to, right at the top here. So we did the same there. We pushed up, we had another one, made a new high, and then come back. So I wouldn't be surprised to see us coming back to the midline and that. You never know. Sometimes it may just go up. Sometimes it does. It's surprising sometimes. Feel more comfortable seeing something like that and getting in. Yeah, there is a little second entry there, but it's just, there is a little double bottom, but it's just stuck in the middle of nowhere. It could come down to here and bounce. It could come down to the EMA and bounce. You never quite know what it's going to do, especially taking there. If you went long there, it's right in the middle of this upper tier, in the middle of nowhere. So you're in the lap of the gods there, really, in my opinion. But while I'm here, while I'm waiting, I'm going to kick off my evaluation. Yeah, tonight it finishes 12 hours. I'll be surprised if it's anywhere. You never know. Sometimes I get down to 71. But my guess is, with all the stuff that's happened and these two videos that come out, they'll probably keep it as it is. I just hope they keep the $85. Let me have a look. So. Okay, there we go. It's got my eval ready for tomorrow. Right, come on, let's have a pull back here. Come on. Okay, 1, 2, 3. There may be a triple test here. Let's have a look. This could turn down now. Mind you, it's very close. It's 1.75 away. Let's see what happens. Oh, is he going to go? Is he going to go? I thought for a minute we're going to get a tick above this, and then down. I mean, literally, we're a couple of ticks away. I passed 40 pounds last Thursday, and have you yet to take a trade? Have you really? Thursday, so Monday, Tuesday, yeah. Oh, we're a tick away, I think. Yeah. One tick from the top. There we go. All-time highs. Matching all-time highs. Is it going to push through? So if you're going to sell it, would you sell above it or below it, or on it or below it? So we bounced off matching all-time highs. I thought for a minute we're going to trigger that bar and then come down, triple test, come down lower. Trouble is, you can't trade this sort of stuff. If I trade that, I'd expect to lose it. But sometimes when it's close, it just works. So, it doesn't matter. It's a sim anyway, so I'll remove them. Quick push. Time highs. There we go. Oh, hey, that's annoying. Get back. Okay, it's so hard to trade all that. There's nothing you can take there in all fairness. We're floating in the middle of nowhere. Too far from that midline, too far from that EMA. You just never know where this is going to turn down. Difficult day to trade, really. I don't think people like Thomas Wade is taking a trade. I don't think Taylor's, or has he? No, Thomas hasn't. I'll tell a lie. He's got that as a second entry long. Is that or not? Well, he's marked it as a second entry long. I don't think he's traded it. That one there. It did work eventually. I just wouldn't have taken that then with this support here because it's clearly going sideways and going long. You're going along right into the top. I don't think he's taken a trade. He's marked it, but I don't think he's taken anything. Price he hasn't. Taylor may have done. So how much further is this going to go? So is this an overshoot? Possibly. So it does seem like this thing could continue higher. Surely it's going to be going to get a bit of a correction or something, haven't we? Sometimes when you think it can't go any higher, you know, sometimes in the past, if I've been trading evaluations, I've gone short here thinking it can't go up. And it pushes up, 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 and up, stops you out. It's unreal sometimes, isn't it? Whenever you think this, overshoot right at the top, surely not. You've got to go short. And Max told us in the past, a worst flipping trade to take. But when you see that, you just think it's got to have a correction. So you put in a sell order, put your profit down here, you stop up here, and within 5 minutes, it stopped you out. So when I just mentioned that, market was about here. So if I went for 2 points and had a 2 point risk, let's see whether I'd have got a short trade here. So 2 points long, 2 points short. There we go. Stop me out straight away. Weird, isn't it? So if I'd have moved my stop a bit, like you do when you panic. Yeah, it is weird, isn't it? Sometimes when you think it just can't go up anymore, it just continues up. So you'd have lost that trade there. Short thinking it must come down. So I think all-time highs was there initially, so we've pushed up another 6 points. In fact, I'm going to leave it there just for now so it's out of the way, and then if we hit and bounce, I'll move it up later or at the end of the day. Nothing worse than a slow-moving market like this. Okay, I think I'm going to knock it on the head today. There's just been nothing all day. I can't see it getting any easier. 2.25 hours I've done. I usually do about 2.5 to 3.5, but it's just one of those days today. I think may just continue on. It's hard to know, but really slow going. It's so hard to trade this stuff when it's side by side, really tight together with only a slow grind up. It's just one of those days. So I will be here tomorrow to trade this CPI news at 1:30 tomorrow. I'll be on the stream at 1:20. So I'll see you guys then. So if you are in that area of that hurricane tomorrow, please stay safe. And best wishes to you all. It must be a pretty scary time, really. I think people think because you live in that area, you take it for granted and you're used to it. But I mean, these things completely devastate lives. So if you are in that path of it, just take care and best of luck. And I hope things calm down as it sort of approaches. And but yeah, you just stay safe. So I'll be back tomorrow, 1:20, early to change this. I will attend tomorrow. Okay, make sure you're on time, otherwise you'll get detention. Okay. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Yeah, be safe, absolutely. Well said. So I'll be here tomorrow, 1:20. So if you carry on trading, best of luck. I hope you get out of this. It's just a bloody mind melt at the moment. I try and take a little bit of time off now and again. If it's very slow going and going nowhere, sometimes rather than just sit in front of it, go away and do some job. I'm just going to go and cook tea for my family. But it's paella night tonight. So my favourite meal, that is. Absolutely love paella. I don't know, you're not supposed to put chorizo in it. I just can't help it. In fact, I only started putting runner beans in it a few months ago. Absolutely lovely. I used to hate bloody runner beans, but in a paella, they are lovely. So there you go. I won't bore you anymore. So best of luck if you're carrying on trading. Failing that, stay safe. Have a great evening. And we'll be back tomorrow, hopefully. We'll get a bit of luck with that CPI. So I'll leave you to it. Bye for now.